Imani means believing in yourself. They have so much to look forward to because we know they can have a different way of looking at their dreams and goals. Getting them at that stage makes it easier for us to focus and train them in the skills that we're trying to achieve. Hi, my name is Keziah Murugi, and I'm the founder and director of Imani Women Empowerment Program. This is a skills training program for teen moms and vulnerable women in our society in Kenya. We are currently training them in tailoring skills and teaching them the business courses that they would be able to sustain their families and create more jobs in our society. I would like to talk more about having opportunity beyond charity. And that is what Imani Program offers. I would like for everyone to look around themselves and think of a situation where you were given an opportunity. How many people have gotten just that one opportunity and it changed your life from where you are to where you are right now? When I look at the teen moms and the young vulnerable women in our society, I beg to ask, what if it will only take one opportunity for them to live a completely different life? And that is, what drives me to do what we do. I think about the society and how many people have had an opportunity to change their lives. I look at, a young man in the village who was a very good soccer player. And just one opportunity where they were taken from that to a Premier League. And they completely changed their lives. They completely live a completely different life. And they have impacted their families in a very positive way. I look at an opportunity for those non-profits or NGOs that come in to support the less needy, the needy in our society by paying for their tuition fees. And a young, bright girl or boy gets an opportunity to go to school and they graduate to be a doctor or to be a nurse or whichever profession they end up being. And that's the opportunity that changes lives. Here we have a teen mom who has fallen pregnant, and we look at it like, they have entered into parenthood. And what if the opportunity that they get is to go through a skill that will change their lives, from after the 6 months. And that's what drives Imani Program. We look at one opportunity that would give this girl a mind reset where they would remember where they wanted to be or even change the course of what they thought they wanted to be. So we get our girls at the beginning of the cohort. They come in looking lost. And when you sit down and you hear their stories one by one, they talk about where they are at the point of you meeting them. And we try to talk about what they have experienced for us to understand where we need to go from where we meet them. At the point of meeting, where did we find them? And we get to discuss about how they came in and how fast they fell pregnant. This is a discussion that involves around anger. It revolves around rejection. It revolves around confusion. A girl shares their story about how they fell pregnant, how they did not have money to even take themselves to the to start clinic. They didn't know how to communicate this. And some even tell you if they had their way, they would have, gotten rid of the pregnancy. And you look back at the things a 17-year-old will go through. This is a child who, we have them in our houses. We have teenagers, whether it's a sibling, a niece, a nephew, your own child. And all they know is that they're still a child and they're being taken care of. But then they slipped, they fell pregnant. They loved a boy, they loved a man, and they end up being pregnant. And they go through so many emotions they never thought, was even possible. Some of them talk about the rejection. When you first tell your parent, some of them were, beaten first. It didn't change anything. They were still pregnant after the beating. Some of them talk about, their parents getting ashamed. The shame that you bring to your own parents who were previously so proud of you. And sometimes I don't, as we talk, we don't blame the parents. It's a reaction that a parent did not expect their child to go through. Or sometimes it's the fear of the responsibility the parents also feel their child might have, without knowing what they got themselves into. So we are talking about two groups of people that we need to work with. We are working with the teenagers who have come to us when they are pregnant, but then we also have to have a point of contact with the parents who are responsible for these children. They're not going to stay at Imani the entire time, but their family remains their family. So when you talk to them, the initial reaction is the rejection, the consequences, whether they were beaten, whether they were kicked out of their home, whether they were, there was no support, even financially. They were not doing so well. They come from a poor family, then there you are, pregnant, and your mom looks at you like, you never thought about the financial constraint that they already have before you got pregnant. And so it is very hurtful at that situation where this girl is going through all these emotions. They are fearing of what is to come, because sometimes the pregnancy is not the problem. It is the responsibility that comes after the pregnancy, which is having a baby, another mouth to feed. And so when you talk to these girls, they regret. Most of it is the regret, because they are wondering if they are not able to even buy themselves a snack, how are they going to be providing for a child that they have brought to this world? And so we are meeting a very confused and lost young girl. And when they come to the program, they look at you like, everyone else views me as a failure. Why would you look at me differently? And so that is the life. If they're left, that's how they keep on living. They live a life where they feel sorry for the decisions they've made. They have regret, because now with a baby, especially in our society, it will be hard for them to ever, pursue anything. Your education stops. Your family no longer looks at you like a promising person. They look at you as a failure. You are not prepared for the job market. You cannot work. Some of them are too young to work. Some of them you have to go and look for casual jobs. And so that is also hard labor. You're looking at a child that you brought to this world without knowing what you'll feed them. how they'll go to school. And remember, these kids, the babies grow. They will be born, they'll start growing, they'll need basic needs. And you as a mom, you feel you will have failed your own child. So we get to discuss about the things they wanted to be. And some will say, I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a medical practitioner in any field, like a pharmacist. Others will talk about being a teacher, fashion designer. They have all these dreams. But then when you look at them, all that has been shattered. That's at least that's how they feel after what they have gone through. So we are meeting a girl who has undergone all these emotions in a span of maybe 1 to 4 years. That's the group that we have. And imagine a young person having gone through all these different emotions for a whole 36 months, 48 months. And it's hard for you to even see how you're going to help this person, because they feel hopeless. They don't think of anything beyond the hard life that they have already put themselves into. So we are now talking to them and telling them, okay, let's have a reset in mind. We will give you this opportunity. We'll give you 6 months. Your child is being raised by somebody. Stop thinking about all that, because if you put your mind where you've left the child or the baby, then you'll not focus when you have this opportunity. But what are you giving up for you to have a better life? It is that time, that 6 months of worry, that 6 months of, responsibility in that aspect, so that you are able to concentrate with your life and what you would want it to be. We don't promise success. We promise a change in mindset. We work on the emotional person in them. And we think about you letting go of all this pain. You putting yourself down will not result to anything. But if you decided, to start thinking positively, how does God see you? How does the society see you? Who do you choose to believe? And those are the angles we look at when we're dealing with our girls. We ask them to think of a situation where they are fully accepted. The mistake may have been because it is visible. And we remind them, people sin differently. People have done so many bad things. The difference between that and what they're living is because there's proof of the sneaking around with a boyfriend. There's proof that you have a child, you fell pregnant. There's proof that you got a baby before marriage. But is that the worst? No. For most of them, we remind them, you've only been here for 17 years. You've only been on this earth for 20 years. What if you're supposed to live up to 70? What do you do with the other 50 years? And that brings them to start thinking about now rebuilding their future. Having an opportunity for you to just have a completely different life. You could be a failure story right now. But what about in 5 years? What if you completely transformed your life and you become the testimony that not so many people have? You become the testimony where they say, even so and so failed, but they rose again. How many people have, risked in businesses? It failed completely, but they rose again. They started, a different way of looking at things, and they ended up now having a completely different, now they're successful, and people look at the success story and forget all the failures that you've had. And that's how we approach the issue of these girls having an opportunity for them to live a completely different life. I shared a story about Mary and how she was perceived in the community. She was a teenage mom, and she had a baby with cerebral palsy. That alone was heavy enough for her. But now, looking at the transformation that now she's a tailor, she's now working, she's able to take her son to physiotherapy on a weekly basis. She's able to provide her own basic needs. People no longer look at Mary as the unfortunate case. And now they look at what she can be able to do. And that is providing. Now she owns, a property. She runs her own business. She's able to pay her bills. And that's the mindset that each and every person in this life needs. They need someone to hold your hand and walk you through something. And that's the hand that you don't forget. That opportunity that completely changed your life is what you'll always remember. You may not end up being a tailor, but you would have healed your wounds from your trauma, from your pain, from the rejection, and you start accepting yourself to the point where now you pursue the direction that you want to go. Those 6 months may seem small, but for us, it's a marathon. It's the time that you felt a guardian or a parent is willing to raise someone's child in the hopes that this girl will get an opportunity to completely change their lives. Some of them want to stay longer, but we know the 6 months should be enough for you to refocus your mindset and for you to pursue your goal. We may be there to help you walk the journey, but at least we know the transformation part has taken place while you are with us full time for the 6 months. So at Imani Program, we bring in these girls and we talk about the issues that affect them. We work on their emotional support. We have a structure in place where we get these girls. We have a way of how we are able to impact their lives, and that is through their education. They know what they're supposed to do. We have a timetable. They know when they're supposed to wake up, when they're supposed to report for classes, what they'll be learning. We take them through the structure of learning up from the point where they start knowing what the parts of a machine and meeting a machine for the first time for some of them, and also just getting to the point where they're able to be tailors. They're able to make a product from design, to the point where they make a product. That is the classroom aspect. We also, some of them also get to learn how to interact with each other during class time. Remember, this is a class setting. You don't pick calls wherever you feel like. So there's discipline, there's integrity. We teach them that when you're given something and assigned some work, you need to make sure that you do it. You need to grow in a way that you're also honest with each other. If you find that, you've lost your own, stationery, let's say a pen or, your own tape measure, You don't go stealing from or picking someone else's. You need to have yours. How do you take care of your own, property when you're given? So when we hand them these things, it's not, a way of just saying you should have it. We tell them, once you are given something, you need to be able to take care of these things. They don't come for free. To them, they might. But for the institution, we get to buy these things. We get to provide these things to them so that they can take care of them. We've had instances at the beginning where, they would take each other's tape measures. They would take, someone doesn't take care of their own thing, like their machine. They go and the machine breaks down and they change the machines. And so that's the point where now we bring them. It's the teachable moment for us to teach them how to have integrity. If you are not able to pedal the right way, how do we come in to assist you? We need to work with you in a way that you are able to, to take responsibility for the things that you are able to do. And so for us, at Imani Program, it's always a teachable moment. What else are we experiencing with these girls? What have we been able to learn as well from this group? Because each group is different. And sometimes we would have a situation where, now we teach them on integrity. We send them to, do a project. Why don't you pick one of the girls and make a shirt or a skirt for them? And so with that, they also start taking responsibility. They start doing something, they have to do it to the finish line. If they are not able to finish in one way or another, or they get stuck, how do they approach that issue? Do they hide from the responsibility or, throw that responsibility to another person? Or do they ask for help? So we teach them how to interact with each other during their time at the program. And one of that is just for them to be free. We're very approachable. We have trained our staff to be very approachable. Yeah, teenagers can sometimes be, too much. But how do you approach it in a way that you do not scar this teenager again? Whenever they start throwing tantrums, for one reason or another, it can be a bad day and it can be, the hormones. How do we deal with different things at different times? That's what we are called to do. And so seeing that we have that structure in place as an institution. They know when they're supposed to report to class, when they're supposed to go for lunch, when they're supposed to break, and when they're supposed to be responsible for whatever reason, whether it is the assignments given, whether they need to design something, are they taking responsibility? It starts there. And we're able to start molding them in a way that if they come out of our place, they are responsible adults. The other thing is, after that, we meet for devotion in the evening. That's around 6 p.m. for 1 hour. And during devotion, we are trying to work on their spiritual aspect. What was your thoughts during the time when everyone else rejected you? Did you feel you were being rejected by God? Or did you just leave it at the human level? Like, these are human beings, they can decide to reject you, or you felt you needed to see God come through for you? Then, another thing that we teach them is every action in this world has consequences. And sometimes God, in His loving nature, allows us to go through the consequences so that we are able to learn. It is not a punishment. It is a way that you get to know what responsibility you have as a person. And so during devotions, we also revisit stories from the Bible, talking about how, Jesus was able to come. Most of the people that came to announce about Jesus were women. And they were not the very upstanding in the society. And so, we look at the woman at the well. We talk about the woman with the issue of blood. And so with that, we tell them, sometimes it's not what the society perceived of you, but it is what God sees in you. You are a human being who is growing, who needs to go through some things for them to grow. And anywhere else, life just molds you in different ways. Whether it's the business part, you might find your business is not doing so well. How else do you approach it so that you start making profits? We talk about even changes in our own body. There's one time when you are a child, but you grow up to be a grown-up. And so how do you also start changing your life according to the changes that you're also experiencing? So I remind them, now you are a woman, but you found out you're a woman in a hard way because you fell pregnant. If our society was open to talking about, the growth, how a woman, as you grow, how you change and what the consequences might be, then maybe we will not be in this situation. Maybe you would get pregnant in your own husband's house, or when you decide you wanted to get pregnant. But now you are here, with this responsibility. But you are among other young women who have gone through the same. So now it is not an individual fight. It is a collective fight that you have other 14 to walk with in this journey. And so I remind them, okay, don't think about yourself alone, where you've come from, or, if it's a girl from Kakuma meeting a girl from Nyandarua, it may be different locations, but you had the different, experiences together. And so when you meet here, when you come now to the program, we tell you, you are now 15 of you with this kind of responsibilities. So work together. Work with the person who has gone through the same thing and sharpen each other to be better people in the society. And so the exposure that they also have, because we get these girls from different backgrounds. There are some that have come from the slum. For them, having a baby is not a big deal. The only issue that they have is now the responsibility of taking care of this baby. We've met girls that are not regretting having the baby because of maybe how the society has molded them, where they come from. And especially the girls from the slum. For them, so many other girls have fallen pregnant. They don't take responsibility. That's the downside about it. They just think, okay, I've been pregnant. I'll just take this baby to a children's home, or whoever wants this baby, I'm ready to give them, the baby, and I move on. So they come in and they find a girl who has come from a culture that has raised them completely different. Maybe it's from a rural home where they felt they have let people down. And so having these two girls working together, they sharpen each other in different ways. The one from the slum kind of lightens the burden of, feeling like having a baby is a big deal, but also having the girl from, the rural area who has been raised with different moral grounds, helps now this one from the slum to know that it was a sin in the first place to act like this without a covenant. And so some of the debates that we have goes around that. And you feel each other gets to learn, how this other person was raised and how this other person was raised. So once they sharpen each other and they're around each other, we get, towards the end of the program or at the middle of that program, you find a completely different girl from the one that first walked into the program and the one that you are now living with, that is part of the program. They start working towards the success. Our main goal was for them to realize that everything that has happened before does not matter, but their future is in their hands, and that is what they need to take before God and before what else lies before them. And so we find a very transformed and energetic and driven girl before the end of the program. And that's our proud moments. For Imani Program, we feel once we've gotten these girls to this point, we know now we are working with, a healthy individual and a promising citizen of our country, or a promising individual that will be out here just growing the economy and being an outstanding, person, a neighbor, workmate. And those are the individuals that we have at our program. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Spotify. That is Imani Program. And you can watch as many episodes as we have in there. And I just want to say I am thankful for you and thank you for just watching us. Thank you.